I promise you don't know this. AutoCAD has more than 10 dimensioning weapons, but you just knew 2 of them.
Hey there, and welcome back to your YouTube channel, Civil Engineering with Reza. Long time no see. I hope you are doing great. At this episode, we are gonna focus on an important part of working with AutoCAD, which gives meaning to your drawings. What is that? I think you'll guess it right. Yeah, it's dimensioning process. We will learn from A to Z, and I will tell you some tips that most beginner users never have heard about that. Are you ready? Let's go. First step is knowing how to have an access to the dimensioning tools. We will learn different ways. The first way is coming to this Home tab, and from here in annotation part you have access to dimension, which is a quick way of dimensioning. But if we want to go in detail, we can have access to these parts. As you see, we have several ways of dimensioning. The other way is coming to this annotate part. In annotate part, again, we have different ways of dimensioning and also more access for that. For example, we have linear and also other more options that we will focus on our next episodes. And the other way is coming to this dimension. Now we have a list of dimensioning types that we can use them based on our need. Now let's focus on step by step the dimensioning types and their application, where we need to use them. If we come to this part, as you see, the first one is linear dimensioning. Where we use this, if I left click on this, as you can see, in here I have a line. It means that some part of this object is line. I can select that this is my first point and this is my second point. As you see, by third click on the location that I want, I can select its place. Now I say that this length is 25. It depends on your units. I told you previously that it's better to set your units at initial step to know with which unit you are working. Now, can I use, for example, for the vertical line too? Yeah, you can use this linear case for horizontal and vertical in both cases. For example, if I select now, I want to select the start point, the end point, and the space that I want from the object. I select on this, and as you see, now I have my dimensioning in vertical form too. Let's see here. I want to dimension this aligned line. It means that it has an angle with the horizontal case. Let's see, can we dimension its original length? If I select on this part and I select the start point and end point, as you see, I cannot obtain its actual length. I can get as a triangle the horizontal and vertical part of that. It means that if I click on this part, it shows that it's 25, but if I click on this part, it shows that it's 12.5. So is there any other way to dimension the aligned forms? Yeah, you can have access to aligned. Now I can dimension the exact length of this aligned line. I can select on the first point and the second point. Now, as you can see, I have its actual length. But here I can use linear to, for example, dimension these parts too. Now, the third case is using the angular. When I want to dimension the angle and obtain the angle, I can use this by left click. Now, imagine that this is my roof. I want to obtain its slope. So, it's the horizontal line. I want to obtain this slope. I need to select on these two lines to obtain the angle between these two lines. I need to select this line and this line. As you can see, by selecting here, it shows that it is 10 degrees. I can have access also to this octagonal too and obtain its angles. For example, if I select the first one, the second one, as you see, I can, it says that it's 120. I can, for example, put it here. I have not clicked on the third location, which is placing the dimension line, because we have 3 steps to do. The first step is selecting the start point, then the end point. The last one is selecting the location of our dimensioning line. If I move it here, as you see, because there is no space, it adds the dimensioning number outside of this dimensioning line. We will talk about them in dimensioning style, don't worry. We will learn one by one, step by step. Now I click on this part and it shows that it's my dimensioning line. Let's get back to our previous example. Now I need to use linear to obtain this length. Can I do it? Of course not. If I select this, as you see, it gives me horizontal and vertical. So linear is just for horizontal and vertical lines. But if I want to use the aligned form, I can obtain these lengths, as you can see, with this manner. Now let's jump into the other one. The other one is arc length. So when I have an arc, if I want to obtain its length, I need to use this method. I use this part, arc length. Now I have my arc. If I want to obtain its length, as you can see, when I select on the arc, it automatically recognizes that it's an arc and shows that in arc, I need to just click 2 times. One of them is recognizing the arc, the other is putting its location. When I select this, as you see, it says that the start of the arc is here, the end is here. Look at and pay attention to this sign. It means that it's dimensioning of an arc. The sign that you see here, it's like an arc. Let's talk about the radius and diameter. When I want to obtain the radius of a circle, or let's be in complete form, the radius or diameter of a circle, what can I do? I, again, like arc, need to select on my circle the first step. Then is it automatically recognize that where is the center and what is the length, what is the radius. Then if I click on the second point, it puts the dimensioning line on that direction. Now I have it, and as you see, because I have the radius, you see the R sign before the number of the radius. So it says that it's radius. But if I do the same with diameter for this case, as you can see, I need to select on this part. It automatically understands that now you have diameter. You want the diameter one of the outer circle. If I click the second one, as you see, now in radius I had R as the start of radius. Here I have phi. It means that it's diameter. It also shows that the start and end point is here. But can I do it inside this? Yeah, you can do it, but it adds the center and the end part. But with the sign of phi, again, we understand that we talk about diameter. Now it's time to be familiar with a dimensioning type, which is used rarely, but it's really practical in a factory. It's ordinate dimensioning. With ordinate, actually, we obtain the coordinates of a point based on the region, the x direction, x value and y value. What do I mean and how we use that? You can see this example of point here. In point, now I want to obtain its x distance and y distance from the origin. When I click on this point, as you see, when I move it on the x direction, it gives the value of y from origin on top of this line. As you can see, when you see this line, it means that from this 0 In here, it has 80 units distance in y direction. But if I want to obtain the x value, I can select on this point. Now I need to put it in this direction. And I can move it in other directions, as you can see, but it will be in an aligned form with a breaked line format. But actually, the important part is this line, vertical line. It means that the distance is from here to this vertical line, which shows the x values. Now, we learned this simple example, but let's see it in more practical manner. As you can see, it's a plate. We have holes inside them. I can select and I say that, okay, it's 0 in x and y. It's the origin. Now, I want to understand that what is the center of this hole in x and y direction. I can directly say that, okay, I want this center. I just here want to know the y. If I select on the y, I can say that, okay, it's the y value. But as you see, because it's y, it puts it like this line. It means that from this line, the distance is 5. Now, it's the breaked form of this line, as you can see. Now, if I select again, and this time I say that I want to obtain the x value of this. I say x datum, and as you see, now I have a vertical line. It means that the distance from this part to this part in x direction is 10. You can also add more information inside them. For example, you can select and you say that I want to have multiple text, or instead of this line, I want to, for example, write a text. For example, I say I want the text. What is the text? I want to say that it's 15, for example, centimeters. Enter. If I do this, as you can see, it says that the distance from here to here is this value. So we understood these applications, but one is left. What is that? It's jogged. So when we use the jogged, we use actually in a case that we want to save an space. Imagine that the center of your circle, or it's better to say that the radius of your circle is large and the center is out of your drawing sheet. So what should you do? You can say that I don't add the exact center as you saw here. It was the exact center in this point, but I don't want to say that, okay, it's my exact center. I want to use a fictional center for that and say that this is not the exact dimensional line. It's a breaked line of that. Let's see it with an example. If I, for example, let's draw another circle here to make it more clear. As you see, it's my circle. If I use the jog, now asks me, click on the arc or circle. So we can do it for both arc and circle. I say that this is my circle. It says that center location override. It means that it's not your exact center line. It's the override, not the exact one. As you see, it's my exact center line. I say that, no, I want my override to be here. And now says that, okay, it's your radius. And where the location, as you see, you want it to be. I say that, okay, it's the location that I want to be, and the break line location, I can move it to this part and this part. I say that this is the case. You see, with the break line, it shows that this is not the exact center of your circle. It was all the information about how to do dimensioning with different types, but these were the initial steps. At next episodes, we will completely understand with how to work with dimensioning styles, also with more practical examples like how to do continuous dimensioning or linear dimensioning and different cases step by step. Also, the other case is understanding about more practical and professional using of dimensioning process. If you enjoyed, subscribe to our channel and like this video. Share it with your friends to help us to learn this AutoCAD process to more people who like to learn. Thanks for watching. Best wishes. Take care and goodbye.